right, and our next guest, if you know Aliens, you definitely know this man. He played one of the most intense, unpredictable, and unforgettable colonial Marines, Private Drake. Half the time, he looked like he was about to save the day, and the other half, he looked like he might start a fight with his own squad. And let's be honest with him, that's exactly why we love him. Beyond Aliens, you see him in everything from Lethal Weapon to Shawshank Redemption. He's built a huge career over the years, so let's not forget. Let's give a big WonderCon welcome to Mark Rolston. And I believe we might have one more last-minute guest, someone who's kind of lingering around the back area. I don't know. They asked if they could have some stage time, so. Oh, all right. Ah, there he is. Or she.
Always has to get in the shot.
Can't tell. All right, well, you better go. Ripley's coming. All right. Folks, we can go ahead and start this panel to Aliens 40. The best sequel ever made! All right, let's go ahead and begin. So here we are, Jenette and Mark, thanks for joining us, by the way. 40 years later, why do you think this film has held up 4 decades later?
Wow.
Deep.
Well,
I don't know. I was just watching the cut, which was amazing, the edit back there, and I was just like, man, the sound design is incredible. I mean, that's not the entire reason, but I mean, every bit of it is just tight.
every frame is just packed with pure action, and it doesn't stop. It's relentless, and it's James Cameron, please.
King of the world.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I usually ask everyone because it's kind of crazy. I mean, I think it's a classic story. It's a war story. You know, that's the genre. And of, you know, a troop of soldiers who go out. I mean, you can do it, you know, whichever period, whichever war you want it to be. And I think it has to do with the film takes its time and to let the audience understand every one of the characters. If you watch it, you know, you're amazed like how slow compared to a movie nowadays. It's like it just sets right off, which is a mistake. You get to really learn who everyone is before you start killing them. So, you know, I mean, then you care about them. Otherwise, you're like, who, you know? So,
I agree. Just a lot of iconic characters and a lot of quotable
the
lines. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's one of the reasons. But among the great acting, the characters you care about, the villain, of course, James Cameron. That's why it's one of the best sequels ever made! Yes. You guys agree with that, right?
Absolutely.
I know you've been in a couple of sequels yourselves, but...
They don't let me touch the original.
The original's great, right? It's a great movie.
Oh yeah, oh my God. There would not have been this without, you know, Ridley Scott's and, you know, building that world and those people and what the future looked like, that it wasn't all shiny and new and super, you know, futuristic. It was kind of looked like our world. It just kind of, everything was falling apart, kind of sweaty.
Oh, speaking of which, we're looping some pictures and it just had, look at that.
Oh.
Those guns.
Woo, yeah.
Now, I understand that you were both living in England at the time, where they shot, if you don't know, they shot Aliens, one of the greatest sequels ever made! They shot it at Pinewood Studios. That's where they shot Star Wars and a lot of the James Bond movies, but that's where they shot it in 1985, and you were both living there, right?
That's right. Yeah, both and I, we had studied acting in England, and just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
We both married English persons, and so we decided to stay over there and start working in England. And you were doing the films that came over. I had just left acting school, and so I was doing a lot of theater as well. But yeah, and they, the union, we were a member of the British Actors Union, and so they could only bring over so many actors who were not of that union, so they always look at who are the Americans who are working there with a union card.
Yeah.
And so that's how they cast a wide net.
Yeah, there was a small contingent of Canadian American actors, and again, a small pool, but luckily they had that law that they had to, however many guys they brought from Hollywood, they had to hire the requisite amount from guys in England. So we both went through the same process with Sound and Order. That was an exciting night. But we were lucky enough to go through the whole process, first meeting Gail Ann Hurd, Jim's then wife and amazing producer.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Produced Aliens.
finally meeting Jim, we all read Hudson's lines.
Even me.
Even for our auditions. Some of the guys were under the delusion that they were actually auditioning for Hudson, like Rico Ross. Yeah, the process was amazing. Finally, like the 4th or 5th time that I got summoned out to Pinewood Studios thinking I had to audition again. But Jim and Gail were there, and they finally handed me the script and said, we want you to play Drake, and one caveat was that I had to bulk up because I was only like 180 pounds. So by the time they got through with me, I was almost like 225.
Wow.
Yeah. No HGH, just.
So I wasn't in that sort of shape. Actually, I I'd always kind of been a tomboy, and I'd been a gymnast, and so I had started lifting weights, which was a really unusual thing to do for women back in the 80s. I just happened to live near a gym and where Mr. and Miss Britain worked out at. So I kind of saw the whole bodybuilding culture, and I was like, hey, this is cool. Maybe let me see what kind of shape I can get into. And so I spent 2 years, I still work up, getting into, and I just happened to be in that kind of shape when I walked in for the audition. So I had.
It was ripped.
Yeah. So it's on film. I don't look like that. 40 years later, it's not like that. It's on film though. Thank God. As my kid said, like, Mom, you don't look like that anymore. But when I came, they had told me that the role of Vasquez had already been cast. And I don't know the complete truth, but what it was that Jim and Gail really, really needed the body. And there were no actors, no women, except for bodybuilders who looked like that. So there was a bodybuilder. They were looking at it, and they were giving her acting classes, assuming that she would play the role. And then when I walked in to audition for either the pilot or the tech, they gave all of us Vasquez's lines to read, just to see how we could read. So they said, don't worry about it, because it's already cast, so just do it however you want to. So I just played it as Vasquez, and then they gave me Hudson to read, which was also really strange, because they said, you're not reading for this role either. And then they kept having me back and, asking me, what do I know about this kind of person? I said, I'm from LA, and, what is your ethnicity? I said, well, I'm Jewish, but I'm kind of mixed from different backgrounds, and just a lot of stuff. And then they gave me, Cameron gave me the script and said, we don't know what part we want you to play, but we definitely want you in this movie. And so I went home, they said, just give us 2 weeks, and then we'll tell you who you're playing. So I was like, oh my God, I'm in a movie, I can't believe it. And I read the script finally, and I just thought, oh my God, I want to be Vasquez. And then I got the call 2 weeks later, and they said, we have some really good news for you. So
That news is you're in one of the best sequels ever made. Sorry, I'm gonna keep doing that. Like that, John. Here we are, 40 years later. Don't want to bring up the elephant in the room, but I'm going to in front of 500 or 600 people. A white woman portraying a Latino woman. Was that's something that could never be done now. But to your credit, you crushed it. Did she not? Yeah! And from what I hear, everyone's okay with it.
yeah. Thank you. Gracias. Yeah, no, I mean, there's the difference between, there's acting and then there's access. And there needs to be access for all types of actors.
Yeah.
So, but everybody, I ain't Irish either, so.
So you all bonded before you went into production. You went into kind of a Hollywood boot camp, right?
So to speak, we rehearsed for a couple of weeks. And then when the Hollywood guys got there, we went through a sort of mini boot camp. We had some, real British SAS officers and now consulting on the film, and they put us through our paces. And like Jenette was already in great shape. I was in really great shape because I had to work out 3 months prior, like 5-6 days a week, and that was pretty intense. But the most hilarious thing was the first morning of the boot camp. It's like a 4:30 a.m. call, and they say, "Okay, 5-mile run." Go, and they're barking at us like we're Marines, right? So I take off, and then I could hear from the background after a bit, it's like Paxton going, "Hey, like, do I really have to do this, man? Because I just got off a flight and I got a little jet lag," and they're like, "Marine, you will do this!" So it was already in character.
Yeah, great. So during boot camp, obviously you bonded. I understand that the late Al Matthews, who played Apone, he was a Vietnam vet, and he kind of acted as a sergeant, and then he acted as a sergeant.
Absolutely. I mean, he would let you know. The one thing he told me, I'd never forget it, when we did the table read, he said to me, "Do you see what that stair she has? That's that, is it 200 mile, 20 mile, whatever that dead-eyed stare is, that's exactly, what a killer would have in the Marines." And his, that monologue, that was improvised, it was rewritten by him, and we could not have done it without him.
Yeah, Al was, real deal. He brought a lot of weight to what we were doing. Not only that, the day we were doing the drop ship down to the LV 456, the set started to fall apart, and part of it almost crashed into Sigourney, and Al was up holding the setup and barking, it was like, "Move, move, move," and we were just like, "Oh yeah, sure," taking off out of the set. But he amazing guy. It's a shame because he only did like one other film or something, 1 or 2 things afterwards, and then he retired to Spain. Yeah.
Well, it's not a bad way to
No, not a bad one.
live either, is it? So you all bonded in boot camp. There was one actor who didn't go to boot camp. The Michael Biehn. Unfortunately, he can't be here tonight because he's got prior engagements, but we shall see, maybe at Comic-Con. Hint, hint. Anyways, what was it like to bring in Michael Biehn? Because I know he famously or infamously replaced James Remar because he was going through some problems.
Yeah, James Remar too. It would have been a different film, a different portrayal of Hicks, but hats off to Michael. I mean, he literally gets a call, is on set a day or so later, and stuffed himself into James Remar's equipment. But you'll see next time you look at the film, it's like slightly ill-fitting, and Michael, because this thing off because it was too small for him. Michael was a much bigger guy, and Michael hated it, because we all got to personalize our gear, and Michael just hated what James Remar put in his gear. But there was no chance. We'd already started filming.
Because he'd put a heart, right? He'd etched a heart right over his heart, and Michael goes, "It's a fucking bullseye." But it was interesting because as actors, we spent 2 weeks with James Remar, and you all know his performances and what an incredible actor he is. But he's that low, gravelly voice, and it was a completely different version. No better, no worse, but just his portrayal of that role. And then Michael comes in with this completely different vibe, look and softness, and again, it was like. That version of Hicks is another actor doing it, and so it's fascinating to see how different actors can portray. I'm sure you've seen like screen tests on YouTube, and you see different actors doing it, and it's just everybody's great. It's just what the director wants for the role then.
Yeah. And I got a question I would ask Michael if you were here. The decision to, when they're all dropping, everyone's panicking, especially Hudson. Hicks is sleeping. Was that in the script, or was that Michael's idea?
I think it It's so hard to know when I look at the original script, because right now there was so much improvising and also just, the greatest, words written to figure out what was what. I know he was really jet lagged. He was really, and he said he was really glad that he said, Hicks doesn't say very much. He was really happy.
Strong silent type, yeah.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Great, iconic in it. Another person I would be remiss if I didn't mention, he's no longer with us, is the late great Bill Paxton. Remember the first thing I saw him in was Weird Science's Chat.
Oh my God.
And I think it was 2016 for the 30th anniversary of one of the greatest sequels ever made.
That's a mouthful.
It was, that's why I keep messing it up. And he was there, he was giving stories about going down with James Cameron to visit the Titanic. And he had some great stories and anecdotes about how he did a lot of improv lines. Like in True Lies, and I imagine he did the same with Aliens as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Bill was always trying to find a way to get more lines in the picture.
More screen time.
But the fun thing is that a lot of them were really good improvs, and Cameron had no problem saying, "Hey, say that and don't say that." Just a little back history. Jim Speck wrote the script. That means he just had seen Alien, and Speck wrote this idea.
As a fan.
As a
lead
fan. Took it to Fox. They said, well, we really like it. We'll buy it off you. And he said, no, I'm
He said, but I just directed Piranha 2. They were not that
one
impressed.
of the greatest sequels ever made.
Yeah.
But the point being, between the time that he first took it to Fox to the time the movie was made, well, of course, in between time, Fox said, well, look, go away and make a sci-fi action feature and then we'll talk. And genius of James Cameron, he makes Terminator. Come on. But I'm sure, like, in the 8 years in between the first draft and when it was made, he's such a perfectionist. And the reason why there's so many great lines and just character development is because I think he was constantly tweaking it and just going back over it. He's that kind of guy. But the dialogue in this film, albeit, a sci-fi action feature, is just priceless. Priceless. Like, that's not to denigrate anything, but, recent iterations of Aliens, like, some of the action is phenomenal, some of the technology, great, but really crappy dialogue. and
Agreed.
And then they have to resort to, like, trying to use the lines that Jim wrote, right, to validate their picture. It's like, guys, you got to put better work in.
Well, we have a quick clip, if we're ready, of Bill Paxton, one of my favorite scenes. If we're ready to roll that real quick? Okay. That line gets me every time.
Let's put her in charge!
Oh, God bless him. Oh. See how I edited that clip right before she said the word. Okay. I got a question for you. When you filmed in Pinewood Studios, a lot of your crew all of your crew was British. I heard there was a little bit of a conflict between their work ethic versus James Cameron's work ethic. For example, tea time. He was not a big tea time guy, was he?
Well, first of all, they were, the crew at Pinewood, they're there, right? They're on salary. And so the director inherits the crew, which is a little different from how the U.S. work. I mean, some of this too, but it's very different. So they're there, so he doesn't, and also here he was, this young, what was he, 30, this, Yank, although he said, I'm a Canadian. But anyway, their idea, who is this, young Yank, doing the great, Scott. So there was a lot of stuff, that he was walking into a lot, prove it to us. So they got that, and also having Gail, this young woman, being the producer, and they gave her a lot of shit. It was not good. So.
But extremely professional crews. I mean,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
The same crews that were doing the James Bond movies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, for example, the Moonscape set, right? That set was built in 4 days with hand-painted backdrops. Wow. I mean, extraordinary artisans, really. But it wasn't so much a conflict with who the crew were. It was just that the head guy I just done this movie Revolution, and Derek, Cracknell. Derek Cracknell was the number one AD on that film, and so he's world renowned as a first AD, but a very powerful kind of guy. So I'm sure he and Jim had a little bit of just, sorting out that, but the tea time was the issue. Because in England, you have your 11s, that's 11 a.m., then you have your 1s, then you have your 3s, right? And this is standard. Like, there's this little lady who comes around with a pot of coffee and a pot of tea, and these little, they call them,
little blotties, they're called?
yeah, but they call them like sandwiches, but they're not really. Like, they're hardly a bite, and it's just a little roll with butter, and then maybe a cucumber. I mean, really horrible, but it was a tradition. It was a tradition.
No Jersey
And
Mike's.
the funny, the day that Jim lost his cool was, I remember this. Like, we're getting ready to shoot, and massive sound stage. And suddenly, from behind all of us, the big soundstage doors start to open. And there at the bottom is Daphne with her little cart, interrupting the entire shoot. Coming on and, hello everybody, hello.
He just lost.
Jim lost his shit. Get the hell out of here. Oh. And then the crew felt they had to protect Daphne, and yeah, it was a thing.
It was a clash of cultures,
Yeah.
Culture clash. There
Must
you
have
go.
been a clash on set. I mean, 1 minute you're serving tea and scrumpets, and then 5 minutes later you're blowing away aliens,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Acid blood. Speaking about blowing them away, the guns in this. These are some of the biggest guns I've ever seen. I'm not just talking about yours, by the way, on your arm. I mean, that gun that you handle, that's got to be like, it's probably the size of you.
The size of me,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
What was it? What was the
It was
number?
an MG-42 anti-aircraft machine gun. Fully working weapon that Jim in his
It's usually on a tripod,
Yeah.
on the back of a truck. So
Steadicam technology was brand new, and who but Jim would think, let's put a gun on it. And
yeah, and so it was like 75, 80 pounds, but the arm, takes a lot of the weight. Now in this picture, I'm not wearing the Steadicam unit. So
That's the
I
real
think
deal, huh?
No,
We
it's
were
weird.
rehearsing.
We were rehearsing, and I think I hadn't been strapped in yet, so they said just hold on to it. But it kind of balanced it. Although the Steadicam unit, it was new technology, and there were no women Steadicam operators in those days. There are now, thank God. And so they found a unit of the smallest operator there was, who was like 5'8", and I'm only 5'2", and this thing did not fit me, and they're rented. So the Terry.
Marsh. No, Terry. Oh
Oh
gosh.
shoot. Anyway, the arms guy, famous arms guy, he took it off and he soldered it and cut off, the bottom third of it so it wouldn't hit my knees. And there's a beautiful
Wow, what's that?
sunset. It's fantastic. I love it.
I don't remember that space.
So the using it was really interesting, and so that whole kind of looked like a ballet in a way what we did together. That was really fun.
Yeah, the arm itself probably weighed about 35, 40 pounds. It had a massive spring that could just make the cantilever to make the gun float.
But you had to sit. We learned that you had to sit way back on it, or it would, if you let go of it, it would pitch forward and throw you with it.
Yeah.
We did have a release, like an emergency release thing on it, which was great because in the scene in the APC when it catches fire, when I unintentionally killed my best friend. Sorry, it was a mistake.
Friendly fire.
Yeah, and we're yelling and we're like
Literally.
screaming and panicking. Well, we were really yelling, screaming, and panicking because me and Bill and Michael Bean could not breathe because they used, real flamethrower, and it set whatever they had painted the inside of the APC with to age it. It set off this fume, this toxic fume, and we couldn't breathe. And so and Michael pulled my emergency thing to release it, and we all scrambled out, and then they went back and reshot it with a flame effect. But the first one he did. You want to talk about your first day on set?
Yeah, my first day was introduction to action filmmaking. I had going to do my death scene, right? So I had to wire tubes running up my leg, up underneath my appliance, fully made up like I had this horrible accident, but then turn away from the camera, I look, normal. But a fully lit flamethrower, right? It's gonna shoot flame 25 yards. All these things will not happen in today's world. They literally do not. They do not happen anymore. Insurance and liability. But here we were in the heyday of filmmaking. Really, it is. You think about it. It's amazing
Dummy
for us.
bullets, but they're real,
Yeah, 50 caliber dummy rounds we shot. We made a lot of noise.
Yeah, to my knowledge, it was one of the last movies to use practical effects until the big CGI wave came.
I don't know for sure, but yeah, it is certainly one of the last great ones.
Yeah, and that's why it's one of the best sequels ever made!
Okay, anyway, getting back to my death scene. No, just quickly, the introduction. So I'm completely wired up, and I have to turn. Oh, first of all, they had 3 chemicals in the tubes. One bubbled, one fizzed, and the other smoked. And they were all water activated. So before any of this happened, I had to go, hold my breath. They'd spray water on them. Things would start bubbling, fizzing, and smoking. I had to turn into camera with the lit flamethrower, fire it directly at James Cameron and the DP.
behind a screen.
Who were behind a plexiglass sheet. And then fall amongst a bunch of flame bars. And then wait for 2 really big dudes to come pick me up. And I was like 225, 230. And they lifted me up like I was nothing. Put me in front of a helicopter van to blow the fumes away. And then I could breathe.
Oh my God.
First day on set.
Trial by fire.
So over the years, I guess you probably had this question a lot, I'm sure. As actors, you probably studied your characters and kind of developed your own backstories, but what exactly is the backstory between Vasquez and Drake?
Oh. Well, it was in the script, the 2 of them. I mean, it described Drake as a hayseed from, farmland or whatever.
Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa. And I was, a gang member from East LA. And
Gang members out there, huh? Cool.
But and then we were both serving life sentences in juvenile prison. So, and we were conscripted. We were given the choice: either spend the rest of your life behind bars or the rest of your life in the Corps. And that's that bonded us, but it also gave why we had nothing to lose. And it made perfect sense why the people who are the bravest, usually the people have they have nothing to lose. Whereas Hudson, like you said, he had 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
And that was so, then he wasn't a coward. It was just, he had so much to lose. He was almost getting out, and the 2 of us were never getting out. So I love the logic of his writing. It just makes it so easy to play.
Yeah, and you guys are definitely ride or die characters, yeah. But all of you as characters and actors, you're pretty tight. I mean, you do the conventions and you hang. I don't know if you hang out personally, but I saw you at the Saturn Awards a couple weeks ago.
What? Yeah, we were.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the 40th anniversary of.
That's good.
Yeah, fair enough.
Make it of it.
And there they are, right there. That was only less than 2 weeks ago.
It's unusual. I mean, people always say.
Here, but it's a picture of all of them holding their Saturn Awards because they won the prestigious George Powell Award. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was a great day. It was a lot of fun.
No, but Jenette and I, how we made friends is because the morning that they were going to test the vest and the weapon, and Jim, all the department heads are there, and Jim says, "Go ahead, present the weapon." We go like this, and the whole thing flies off and clatters on the floor. And then all the department heads are going, "What do we do?" And then Cameron says, "Duct tape."
That was the solution to every problem, was duct tape. If it broke, just tape it up.
Yeah.
And so because we were duct taped in the morning after we went to makeup and hair and all of that sort of thing, they would go, "Okay, go to the bathroom because you're not going to the bathroom until we break for lunch." And because they duct taped us in it. So between shots, where other people would go and get tea or whatever they were doing, we had these special stools made for us with a hole right here so we could put our Mark and I sat next to each other on our stools, and, and we would talk, how you feeling? Those are great. So, we became best
Paxton
friends.
having fun over there.
Yeah, there we are.
I wonder what they have for tea.
So we just sat there, and but all of us, I mean, it's fascinating. Some of us live in LA, some live in England, Canada.
Yeah.
All over in New Orleans, and we get to see each other at conventions. It's wonderful, but
we remain really close because we live in LA.
we came out for the premiere.
Seen our children grow up.
Yeah, and then actually,
Jenette.
we almost forgot. Yeah, we came over because we were both living, and we weren't really sure where are we going to, fly all the way back or whatever. And they called and they say, yeah, you should come back.
Yeah.
You should really come back. And so
Jenette's parents were very kind, and they let me stay at their house.
yeah. So we became great friends.
It's awesome. Yeah, and here you are 40 years later. I doubt the cast of Aliens 3 is that tight.
I don't know. I'll just say Aliens is the only film in my lifetime where I've remained truly great friends with everybody. I went to the 30th anniversary of Shawshank a year or so ago, and thank you.
Another gem.
I hadn't seen any of the guys in 30 years. It was like, oh, hey, Bill. And, whereas we're always catching up and coming over for dinner or jumping in the pool. It's a different vibe. Maybe it was because we were all 30-year-olds, not quite 30 years old, but it was really adventurous. This was a big deal, right? And we didn't even know how big a deal it was going to be.
And that includes Sigourney and Paul Reiser, and Sigourney, unfortunately, she couldn't be at the Saturn Awards, and so we did a Zoom. I did a Zoom with her and Jim and Mike. We were talking, and she just choked up. She was in London doing a TV series or something, and she was like, "Oh my God, I wish I could come." And it's really it's a family.
Yeah, that's just another reason why Aliens is.
The best people ever.
All right, okay, so you're doing great. We're going to get to some questions. Before we do that, I just have one quick question. Do you believe in aliens?
You mean life on other planets, something like that?
Yes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I had too much to worry about here on Earth.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, we're going to open it up to some audience questions. You can, the mic's right up here. I don't know if there's any kind of organized line. I'm sure some of you must have questions because we are here. We are here for Aliens 40, the 40th anniversary of.
Oh, they're running away. I caught you.
Here we go. We got someone who's got a question. Oh, you, sir.
I don't want to jump the line.
He's coming. Somebody put the mic down.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. I'm not sounding like an explosion, right?
You're good.
Okay. You guys have been telling some great stories of Michael Biehn and Bill Paxton in terms of funny stories. Do you have any for Sigourney?
Hang on a second.
Oh,
Good question.
I do.
Oh, that funny ones, you mean? Is that what you say? Funny?
Funny,
Oh, okay.
you want a funny one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he has one, yeah.
So, early on in the shooting, Bill Paxton came to me and he said, "Hey, Mark, are you okay with Sigourney?" I go, "What are you talking about? Of course, she's lovely. I mean, what?" He goes, "Well, she's afraid of you, dude." I was like, "She's afraid of me?" I was like, "Wow." Anyway, so eventually we went over and chatted with her and tell her about, my son had just been born, I think 1 year old, and I didn't know she was trying to have a baby, and was like, oh, so we kind of bonded over that. But the day we were shooting the hypersleep chambers, we all arrived, and being practical effects, all of those lids had to open simultaneously, but practically, go figure that out, right? And it was a long day. I mean, really, and Jim wouldn't let us out of the hypersleep bed.
The lids weren't working, and
The lids weren't working, they were this, and he said, "No, just stay where you are, we're gonna get this right." And so we're just sitting there, and I fell asleep at one time. And then, it was really boring, and then suddenly Sigourney turns to me and she goes, "Hey, Drake." Yeah? She goes, "You know what? I'm not very hairy here." And I went, and then she started laughing. She was like, I got you, I got you. So yeah, that's my funny Sigourney story.
Sir, next question.
Howdy. I love all of your work. Drake and Bess have this very, very intimate, but not at all romantic relationship. And was that a conscious acting decision? Was that part of the script, or was that just something that sort of happened naturally?
I think it was fairly conscious.
Yeah, you know, it's the same thing with Ripley and Hicks, which is, you know, I find that it's really unusual in films where you have a deep friendship between a man and a woman, you know, built out of admiration and respect. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the question. Yeah, that was a good one.
Hello.
Hello. I was wondering, I don't know a lot about aliens, but I know I want to be an actor, so I was wondering how practicing was before actually shooting.
Oh, that's a really good question. You know what? We got 2 weeks, which is unusual. Usually in theater, you get to practice, you get to rehearse, but in film, you usually do not at all until the day you show up. But we got 2 weeks to talk to each other and work on stuff. But if you, are you do theater?
Not yet.
Not yet. In theater, you get to really, you want to start off in theater because then you really learn how to do it. So when it comes time to doing film or TV, when you have to just kind of do it right then, it helps you. But you can also, you know what you can do, like in T2, you call up your friend, your actor, so I called up Robert Patrick and we got together in his apartment and we rehearsed things together too.
Yes, ma'am.
But for you as a young aspiring actor, the best thing you can do, get involved in your community theater, get involved in a play at school, and do it. The more you do it, the better you get.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Real quick question. How old are you?
I'm 12.
12, okay. Yeah, I was probably about
Perfect time to start.
5 years younger than you when I first saw Aliens. You should see Aliens too. You want to see some actors work their craft? There we go. All right, sir.
Thank you so much for coming out. Alien is my wife's and my favorite horror sci-fi series, and Aliens is definitely the jewel in the crown.
It's not just that. It's...
Oh no.
Perfect
All right, so
setup.
go ahead. Your question.
My wife and I would like to discuss, argue, is Aliens an action-adventure movie with elements of horror, or is it a horror movie with elements of action-adventure? And I was wondering
Great question.
what you might think.
I think it's the former. Yeah.
Yeah. An action. I mean, I always just, the genre is the war film.
Yeah, Jim used to say to us, he said, like, guys, this is a roller coaster. It's like always, our energy had to be up. There was never a moment when we're preparing for a scene that you couldn't be jacked up because, I mean, you know, shit was going down, right?
Definitely, yeah, it wasn't, I mean, there's different types of horror, like the first one was like the haunted house, you know, sort of in space. And Jim, his working title for the film was Grunts in Space.
Yeah.
So
Thank you
there
very
go,
much.
yeah.
Hi. My name's Chandler. I actually had a question. Do you have any memories of working with the xenomorphs? I forgot if they're performers or the animatronics or what.
He was just here. Did you see him?
No, I meant in the film.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, actually, so Carl Toop is the actor, dancer, who played the main alien. And we only just reconnected a few years ago in the conventions, because he started doing conventions. Because I tried not to look at the actual face of the performer, because once we saw them with their heads off underneath the other arm eating, you know, it kind of ruins the effect. So, no, I just recently reconnected with him, and he was hired because he was a dancer. in the West End, and he'd done a lot of cable work, like flying in and that sort of thing. And no, it was, I just remember kicking him in the neck. And he said he remembered my death scene. So he was hanging up there in the tube to be dropped on top of me. And he said Jim was with me and Bill Hope talking about the scene and where, and he said he remembers just hanging there, just going, come on, come on. I was like, oh, I never even thought about you just hanging up there while we were. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. And next question, sir.
I'm a high school English teacher out here in California, and I teach a genre study course. And we, as a model, we use science fiction every year to get us started. And invariably, when we talk about like the penultimate sci-fi stories, Aliens is always top of the list for my students. And we talk in my class about how storytelling, especially genre storytelling, the resonant stuff is resonant because it answers or asks like essential human questions. I'm wondering from your perspective, what essential human questions Aliens asks or answers?
Uh-oh, rated on this.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it has to do with mothers
It's definitely a mother.
being, the ultimate nurturers, protectors, and because it goes both ways in the film, right? Not only for Ripley, but for the Queen Alien as well.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating. I think Jim was able to paint that and humanize that aspect of the aliens, right? It's
If he's facing your demon, she goes back to not only prove to them that she wasn't crazy, but to face her fears there. But it's really, I mean, the mother-daughter aspect of it. If you saw the original, the director's cut, you know that she lost her daughter, or she was out in space for so long, her daughter actually passed away.
I don't know if it answers or begs questions about war. Jim plays into the one sheet with this time it's war.
I don't know if it's that. What were some of the answers you got?
I mean, they talk about motherhood, they talk about facing your fears. There's also the sense, I mean, we have to be careful because it's high school, but there's the sexual aspect of the xenomorph. And the way that they reproduce, and like questions about masculinity and femininity. What Ripley was doing as an action star in the 80s challenged a lot of what women were doing as characters in the 80s. My students pick up on that.
Well, just the reality of it all is that Jim and Gail Ann Hurd are visionaries, and they fought the studios. The studios said, you can't have a female action star. I mean, they actually said this to James Cameron. And he's like, you're crazy. And then they fought for Sigourney. They fought for Sigourney to become the first woman to get $1 million. I'm telling you, yeah. And then also, not only that, to create, not only Ripley, but to create Jenette's incredible transformation. Y'all don't know, it's like, Jenette goes around the world, and you've been like, I'm blowing you up. No, really, women around the world come with their daughters in tow, like, because she proved that women can kick ass and take names.
The funny, I don't think it was proving. I think it was because I think all people know that and knew that in the 80s. You just never saw it on screen. And that's what it was. You finally, and the interesting thing when they first came out with the action figures, they didn't do one of Vasquez. And I was like, did they not see the movie? It was, because they're just operating on, what's gonna sell? And I'm like, they don't know anything. You guys know everything.
That's right. That's why they're here.
Kind of blew my question, but I was going to comment about how this is to me, it's the best mom movie ever. Badass mom protecting her child.
Yeah.
So I would have also added to that answer that you guys came up with corporate greed.
Mm-hmm.
That was all throughout it. But
Right, of course.
But the mom theme was throughout this movie. How did, so you had this little child on set, right? And there's all these monsters and people using bad language and doing all these things. How was her experience? I mean, I don't know if you interacted with her at all, but what did,
We see her, I mean, you know that she's a grown woman now with 2 children and a teacher. She said that it didn't bother her. She
Right.
was, she was very,
Also, part of the protocol with children on sets, they'll do a scene and then they get whisked away to do school.
yeah.
Right? That's just the law. And so we kind of saved a lot of our curse words for when she left the set.
was she afraid of the xenomorphs, or was she just used to acting and it was?
No, she'd never acted before.
Never acted before.
Never before. I mean, she's amazing in the role, and I think Jim, when he looks for child actors, he looks for ones that don't act. You know, she just listens, and she's so. No, she'd never done anything. She found her in a schoolyard in London. Her dad was a American Army guy stationed over there, and never did a film after since.
My favorite quote of hers was, my mom and dad had told me there's no such thing as monsters, but there are, aren't there?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really a wonderful writing, and she just had that. The way her performance was amazing. I'm really.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Everyone should watch Aliens on Mother's Day. That's the takeaway.
It's a great.
Okay, was that the last question? Okay, you're shaking. I'm sorry. I think we don't have time. I wish we did. Before everyone goes, though, I had this T-shirt made. As you can see, it says. Thanks for participating. Thanks for everyone coming. You were a great
Yeah,
audience.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're here all weekend. Come and see us. We'll be here through Sunday.
Yes, you're going to be all till Sunday at booth
Booth number.
DL 26 and 25, right? It's in between columns B8 and B9, I believe. And the button. They're selling these awesome buttons. I traded her a t-shirt for this. This is awesome. It says, Aliens at 40. Greatest sequels.
Thanks for me.
Thank you.